Hello? Anyone? Alright, we seem to be back. Yes, back on? Okay, good shit. All wheels driven. What's going on? Yeah, exactly. Fucking thing sucks. Alright. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. Where did we leave off? I'm not sure what the issue is. Hopefully it does not continue to persist. We'll keep monitoring it. Apologies for the interruption. We were on UK 100 going on the first expected move, getting less random, much better for directional delta traders. As long as this persists, we should be expecting a significant price change actually, but the level is still quite high. For reference, this is the Corona dump. I'm not suggesting that this is what's going to happen. However, we do see entropy moving lower for a much longer period of time, providing a pretty big, massive move incoming. Also, this was done on a rising QCV with very little autocorrelation on both the DWT and the VRT, but the Hearst did go into significant trend. So maybe we will monitor for conditions like that to see if that's something that is happening now, because we do see the DWT VRT having very similar stance. The QCV is moving up, the entropy is moving down. However, the Hearst is still in significant mean reversion. So that kind of leads me to believe that this is going to be different than the Rona dump in the inverse. Volatility still rising as well, so do keep that in mind. Let's move on to China. China taking a big move down. Holy shit. VRT trending, actually not random, not a random walk here. Also, the DWT is moving into positive autocorrelation. QCV still moving down, probably not a big massive move, and Hearst has entered trend. Certainly not a good look for China, as the volatility is very low. We are expecting the big moves to come to the downside now. The momentum has gone negative as well. Likely there's going to be a pretty big volatility expansion over the next 60, 120 days or so. Let's take a look at the weekly as well. Yeah, weekly about the same. The SSR is likely to give you something new here soon. Do keep an eye on that, but certainly not a good look for China. Let's take a look at Hang Seng. This market's been getting beat up for a long while. Entropy still moving lower. Momentum still negative, although climbing up a little bit, and price is still below the 2, so we are expecting the big moves to come to the downside. One thing of note is that the QCV did cross back down, suggesting that this big move is now pretty much done. Let's hope so for HSI's sake. Let's take a look at the weekly as well. I wonder if you're on any sort of probability here on the weekly. I know this is going to take some time. 45 bars. Yeah, you are on the 5% probability for the weekly. Breaking this would be like getting 4.32 heads in a row. We can certainly continue to grind lower, especially as the entropy is moving down. However, it is in unlikely land. Let's take a look at the daily again. Yeah, the biggest thing that's worrisome here is higher volatility in the future and the declining entropy with momentum and D2 being negative. We should be expecting negative prices in as long as this persists. All right, Japan, we still should have a trade on. Did it disappear? Let's take a look. Yeah, we were carrying this trade, this hypothetical trade, for the 21-day period, as we usually do on options. This still has 11 days left. I do still think that on the daily there will be lower volatility overall. The HV percentile is at 90, so very, very high when volatility is being compared to itself. Doesn't seem to be any trend on HERS, DWT, or VRT. For the time being, momentum is positive. Let's take a look at Nikkei. Nikkei very similar. Is the entropy? How's the entropy on this? Yeah, Nikkei is very, very similar here. Just the high volatility reading, although this one not as high at 77%. VRT is giving some possible autocorrelation, but still rather random, and entropy suggesting this is a pretty damn random market. For delta traders, probably not a good bet. For volatility traders, probably not a good bet. As far as exposure goes, that's probably the only thing you have here is just to be exposed to this market overall, if you wish to be. But as far as trading goes, there isn't much here. Let's take a look at Dow Jones. All right, so now we're getting into the US markets. Are they open? Yes, they are. Okay, good. All right, for US markets, I was outlining this on Twitter yesterday. Yeah, no worries, some volatile, dude. I was outlining this on Twitter yesterday for the S&P 500. We'll take a look at it in just 1 second, but the underlying dynamics are pretty significant for the US markets. One thing that has happened very recently is the QCV turn up, and we've had some pretty big moves when this happens. We don't know how long they'll last, but it's a pretty good indication of incoming volatility. Certainly are extremely tradable. Not everything is going to be 100% in trading. It is very yo, come on, guy. why you guys gotta hit me with the dirty words today? All right. But certainly very, very tradable events, something that I pay attention to, especially when we get very big runs on the QCV. We see some pretty big price changes. A couple of other things I'm looking at is the rise in volatility. Those two things do agree, and the autocorrelation stuff. Let me just move to where we are now. And the autocorrelation stuff. On the Dow Jones, VRT is suggesting possible autocorrelation here as it's climbing up. The Hearst is not. This is going to take some time, as it is for volatility and autocorrelation together. So hopefully we don't stay here long. Hopefully we do start some sort of trend, but as long as this persists, it's probably going to be a little bit choppy on this volatility expansion. And also, I think part of the reason why we've seen the significant mean reversion for so long is because the weekly volatility reading is very low, and actually the QCV is turning up on that now too from a very low point. So I know we've been saying god damn it. I know we've been harping on volatility pretty much since we started, that 2022 is probably going to see some crazy stuff. We have 2 days until that starts, and we see these indicators already turning up. So prepare yourselves for some intense movements. As long as there's no autocorrelation, I would be expecting choppy and probably up. I was looking at the probabilities on the S&P 500 yesterday, and the chances of us going below, I shouldn't say going, the chance of us closing below what was it, 46.75. The chance of us closing below 46.75 over the next 60 days is about 10%. So it's not a bet that I would like to take. The bet that I want to take on the S&Ps is higher volatility in the near future, probably over the next 60 to 120 days. We started to see that on the daily. The HVZ has already cooled off from the first juicer move, and probably a ranging behavior as long as this persists. So we will have to wait and see for that. The the cone is still skewed to the upside. For example, if we put it on the 0th bar and we go something like 70% bet, right? So you have a 70% bet of staying inside the cone over the next 60 days. It'll probably look something like this. So that's what I'm expecting on the S&P 500 and overall up. Also, we do see the entropy taking a step down. This is significant if this persists. We are still at a pretty high level for scale. Here is the Rona dump, which was a very significant change in price. And also caught the bottom pretty damn well. Yeah, so big things happening in the markets with the QCV turnups. We will continue to monitor this. Overall long, probably don't go below 46.75. Let's take a look at NASDAQ while we're here. NASDAQ having a decent up open of 0.09%. That's like a minute in in crypto time moves. All right, let me see. Do I have expected move up? Yes, okay, perfect. We don't see the same entropy metric. We actually see entropy climbing back up. We do see the QCV, we do see the mean reversion, we do see a possible negative autocorrelation, but probably a random walk and expanding volatility. So those two are pretty damn close. Expect higher volatility. Expect higher volatility into 2022. Expect ranges as long as this persists, and probably price doesn't go too much lower from this point. Overall up only. Nice. All right, let's take a look at the cryptos. The crypto's been getting everybody super afraid. All right, let's take a look. See, I was actually browsing the Wall Street Bets Discord today, and it was just fucking some crazy people in there, man. It's funny. It's funny how they all go to like personal attacks as soon as you're like, oh, here's some math for you. Why don't you stop losing money? But anyways, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So some significant things did happen on Bitcoin yesterday. One of them being that entropy is now moving lower, VRT moving up towards possible positive autocorrelation, which would be trend, and Hearst has been trending since we started dropping, actually. Yeah, Hearst has been trending since we started dropping. I don't think this is the big massive move that we're expecting, as the QCV is moving down, but this is kind of scary. The 4-hour looks worse, so the short-term stuff does look pretty damn bad with the QCV moving up, volatility expanding from a very low point, entropy moving down, and VRT and DWT trending, with Hearst actually entering trend as well. So as long as those things persist, I'm looking for further downside. Let's see how probable that is. Let's go 11 bars back, and we'll go back to 5 and 5. We are getting towards unlikely land. You got a nice play off of the 5% cone here on the 4-hour, but the volatility metric, or excuse me, the entropy metric is certainly of concern. It is pretty damn high right now, so hopefully it can turn back around and get more random for the time being, or we can cross up above the due. For now, not so good. The one thing of hope is that momentum is declining here. The negative momentum is declining. The ACDC is turning up. So let's see if that can go positive and we can get some upside. For reference, I think I have my probability panel set. So this is the range that most of the people are probably looking at. This is on a 4-hour basis. Over the next 34-hour counts, the probability of downside is at 38%, which is pretty damn significant. Upside only at 7.3. Inside the range has been given the most probability at 54.34. So if you're making bets, I would say over the next 30 times 4-hour candles, a bet that we don't go above 52,000 is a pretty damn good one. 93% chance of success, roughly. Let's take a look at the same thing on daily. So the daily's pretty split. This is over the next 30 days. Obviously, the probabilities will be different as we're giving it more time. Staying inside the range has the lowest probability at 24.5 and 37 and 38% respectively for upside and downside. I think the bet on the daily over the next 30 days is that we break the range. For options traders, that's a pretty good bet if you're taking into account the low volatility and the low HVZ reading. We do have some room for volatility expansion. You are at a 9th percentile for HVP. Also on the weekly. On the weekly, you're at 40th percentile, which is about in the midline. It's about in the midline. I don't know if you'd want to buy premium that far out, though. This is you know, over the next 52 100 to 120 weeks. That's a long time to bleed premium. There's probably better plays, but over the next 30 days, I think the bet on going outside of the range is pretty damn good. About a 75% chance of success, especially if you're buying calls above 52,000, which will be cheaper than buying at the money, and buying calls below 45,476, 45.5 roughly. Pretty damn good bet. There are also other ways of reducing your cost basis on that. For example, we can see like where are you unlikely to be over the next 60 days, and maybe sell calls and puts on those to reduce your cost basis. Let me go. I should really fucking start trading Deribit. Like, this is a bet that I'd actually want to make. I was looking over the crypto market yesterday. I found some opportunity, but like literally all of them are at a loss, and I've taken 6 trades, and there was just nothing, right? Because everything was bleeding out. I don't want to be short shit. So I bought some things just to have some exposure, and I'm losing on them. But I think the bet to make here is actually an options bet. If we go to like again, a 70% chance of success. You can use your own numbers for this, but certainly you could make some plays by shorting these calls and shorting these puts as well. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but this is kind of the play that I want to set up. I will continue looking at this, and that can actually earn me some money. While the opportunity is slim on just owning the assets outright. Also, Unk, our our Gigabrain Bali, the guy who's responsible for, you know, putting this team together and designing a lot of these tools, he sent us a video in Discord about how much more effective it is to short premium rather than buying the assets outright. I know you don't get to own anything at the end of it, but in terms of buying power reduction as well as profitability, it's much more profitable and much less expensive to short puts at the bottom than it is to own the assets or buy calls. So do check that out. I think that's a tasty trade study that they did. Interesting stuff. All right, I digress. What else can we observe here? Maybe let's take a look at the weekly while we're at it. So we are on the first expected move for the weekly now. Does seem to be trending behavior happening here. Actually, the hearse is in significant trend. And the weekly SSR is extremely low. This is actually pretty significant. It's outside of the second standard deviation band. So what does this mean? Well, we do have to close the week. Return on capital was almost 25 times for SPY on shorting puts. Yes, okay, perfect. And that is in our Discord, so do come join us there, come hang out, and come learn some new stuff. The SSR being so low now, it can go lower next week, so don't get me wrong, but the way that I'm interpreting this is if we close like this, a down week, a down return. Actually, this is still an up return for the weekly. Okay, well, depending on how we close and what kind of excuse me, my cat is just attacking me, and what kind of return we post for the self-similarity to climb, because it's at an extreme low. For self-similarity to climb, the two returns would have to be self-similar, just by definition. So we'll keep an eye on this, but if we are likely to start climbing and we close the week as a down week, the following week is likely to be a down return as well. This can get more extreme, so take that with a word of caution, but I'll certainly be keeping an eye on this. All right. What can we expect for the daily today? All right, so the first expected move to the downside is at 45,865. Let me just remove this for a second. Yes, 45,861, excuse me. The second one is at 43,352, and the last one is at 41,215 if things get really, really crazy. Should we be expecting them to get crazy today? No, probably not. Probably not, as volatility is pretty low here at HVP printing a 10. So we'll continue monitoring this. Similarly to the upside, 49,245 is your first one, 41,745 is the second one, and 54,000 even is your third one. All right, let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum also sharing the declining entropy metric. Hearst is now entering trend. QCV looks like it wants to turn up. Maybe give this one a couple of days to see if that continues. HEP on the daily is very low, so we should be expecting higher volatility with HVC being where it is as well. And the SSR has started climbing, so this is certainly not a good setup. I'm assuming price is below the due. Yes, it is. This is kind of what you want to see out of a setup, but the only problem being is that it's a short setup, and I really don't want to trade that. Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look for Ethereum going into the new year. Hopefully we do get this to turn around, but doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Also, the mean for returns has gone negative as well. Tough. And the R squared is expanding. Probably continue to see down days as long as this stuff persists. Not a good look at all for Ethereum. Let's check the total as well. Yeah, total entropy moving lower, still at a pretty high read, but certainly not good. Yesterday price closed below the due, so we should be expecting the big moves to come to the downside. HVZ has started picking up some trending behavior. Maybe VRT will give us trend as well, and momentum going negative, but not quite there yet. Returns are negative. Or excuse me, the mean for the returns is negative. Not a good look at all. Yesterday the return was pretty damn close to the band, so it kind of makes sense that we have a little bit of upside today. If this was outside of the band, I would be a little bit more sure of that. It doesn't have to be. It's more likely to be closer to the mean than this is. All right, anything else we can observe here? No, not much. Not much. Not a good look. Not a good look for Bitcoin over the longer term. Not a good look for Ethereum or the crypto total, as long as this stuff continues to persist. All right, let's take a look at rates. Rates actually took a pretty decent step up. Wow. I was not expecting this. Rates ended up taking a step up. The 20-year getting very close to 2% at 1.977. Let's take a look at TLT. And TLT taking a step down to the second expected move. Can we expect this to continue? In the short term, yeah, as long as the SSR keeps climbing. Momentum has gone negative below the due, so we should be expecting big moves to come to the downside. The daily volatility is quite high, so you don't have that much room for volatility. Certainly isn't a good bet. It could continue, but not a good bet. The weekly, however, is expanding. So over a longer term, over the 52 to 120 weeks, probably higher volatility in rates. And the way this is looking, probably to the downside. Momentum has gone negative, entropy moving lower. So this would actually suggest higher rates. This would suggest higher rates. I don't know how the world would react to that, honestly, because we've had, let me see if I can do this. US, let's go 20-year maybe. Yeah, there's not much data. I don't know how the world would react to higher rates, because we've essentially had 30 years, maybe even more, of declining rates. And so entering a new environment, this is since the 1980s. I think they might have even been higher before. Let me see. Yeah, we've been moving down since 81, 40 years. 40 years of declining rates. If we all of a sudden start to move up in a rapid fashion to higher rates, that can certainly cause some economic trouble. As the cost of money would be actually expensive. That would actually signal more inflationary pressures. And you can think about it, you know, even from the Fed perspective, because the Fed talks a lot about, you know, we're in control of rates, and we bring them down anytime there's a crisis. Well, usually a crisis is deflation, and usually the response to that is lower rates. So it makes sense that, you know, lower rates are actually a sign of deflation, not inflation, contrary to common people's belief that they are stimulative. They're not stimulative. What's stimulative is the total amount of money in the system versus the cost of money. But certainly they are a pretty good economic indicator of the pie getting smaller. And we've had that for about 30 years. I'm not saying inflation isn't real or anything like that. But certainly not to the extent that people... There's something else going on. There's something that's unaccounted for. And rising rates would suggest that there is actually inflation, like real inflation, which wouldn't be a very good look. Certainly for, you know, people that don't own assets, and even for those that do, it's not really the way you want to make money. Like, the way you want to make money is by attaching your current savings to things that provide new value. That's like really where the big good bucks are going to be made. If shit just gets more expensive and you made money as a result of that, that's, you know, that's, have you really won? Like, you got a you got a percent metric that you have to outpace with returns, which is, it's hard enough to do already, to provide positive returns for yourself, but to outpace something else, that's even harder. So we'll continue looking at it, we'll continue monitoring it. Certainly not a good look. All right, let's move on to some stuff. I think Weebos was posting today about some stonks that he was looking at. Let me see. All right, so okay, the short list isn't very short, but in context, 58 out of 4,200 is a pretty damn good filter. God, how does he monitor so many assets? That's crazy. Purple has insider buys, red has high short interest. All right, so let's start with the red. This is the high short interest stuff. Arch. And this music is once again terrible. I'm once again asking you for better music. All right, Arch. Nice setup. Very nice setup. You got room for volatility to expand. QCV is turned up. You got some trend on the Hearst here. Momentum's positive, and entropy moving lower. Damn, this is a nice setup. It could be a juicer. Could be a juicer, honestly. Let's take a look at the weekly. Let me see, Arch. I just want to take a look at the HVP reading on the weekly on it. Where is it? Oh yeah, of course they'll give me. Okay, let's go 52. This is for the year, so it should actually share the metric with the other one as it's over the year. Yeah, rising volatility on the weekly on a 52-week sampling basis. You have to look at them before you stream, bro. Weed them down to like 4 or 5 to 10. Arch also has high short interest over 20. Yeah, honestly, I think we have enough time today to look through all the purple ones and all of the red ones. Whatever filtering process you do is seemed to work pretty well. Honestly, you've provided some fucking juicers in the past. I don't know how you have the time to look through all these. Like 4,200 assets is a lot. I'm having trouble with the 140 assets on FTX. Do you have enough time today? We never have enough time, my friend. All right, let's take a look at HVT. Juicer setup, nice. That's what you want to see. Let's take a look at HVT. Also has high short interest. Higher volatility on this one. Entropy moving down, nice. Momentum is climbing out of the negative zone. If this flips positive and price can close above the due, I would say you have a pretty good chance for a squeeze. Hearst is giving you trend. The VRT and the DWT isn't. That's not a problem. If you're looking for a longer term positive autocorrelation as well as an increase in volatility, the Hearst is your friend. I'll explain in Discord. Fuck randoms. True. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, this one looks good if we can flip momentum and if we can close the day up. This will look pretty decent for a setup. Let's look for CTRN. All right, CTRN also pretty damn high volatility. The volatility is too damn high. Let's see if we can get a QCV turn up. Momentum's kind of bullshitting here, and Hearst is insignificant trend for what it's worth. And SSR is moving up from a low place. I would say in the short term, you probably get a decent move on SSR with the Hearst being where it is. Excuse me, this is on weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. Speaking of volatilities, I saw just stream. Oh man, I buy calls. Okay, I buy calls. I don't even hedge. I don't even reduce my cost basis. All right, SSR moving up on daily. Nice momentum positive above the due. VRT giving you some trend. The QCV, it has flipped. Not a problem. You could probably manage just by getting exposure to this. I mean, if you're trading on like short interest, I don't know how successful that is for you, but as long as this persists, probably the big moves come to the upside. Volatility is pretty fucking high though. I'd say that Arch one from the tools perspective has the best looking setup that I've seen with the QCV, the entropy, the momentum, the Hearst. That's a pretty good setup. All right, let's take a look at some of the insider buy stuff. BRST. Yeah, we should be looking at lines on this, not candles. Jesus. Cone skewed to the downside here. Volatility very low, so you do have some room to move. Nothing is trending. Actually, this is not random. This is not random walk. I would say this one from a tools perspective, the only thing would be a bet on volatility, but because it's OTC, I don't know if there's options on OTC, right? If there's no options, there's no way to structure just a volatility trade. You would just have to long it. You would have to long it and hold exposure. Do use like half Kelly or quarter Kelly even to position yourself well, or whatever prevents you from being too much overweight in one position. But there's really only the trade on volatility on the table. That's the only bet that I'd be willing to make here, or just long and hold. AFBI, let's take a look. Okay, can we do not candles on this? All right, Affinity Bank shares. Why didn't they just spell bank correctly? Jesus. All right, pretty nice move off of the second expected move around there. So far the big moves should come to the upside. You do have room on volatility. Do you have a cross? You're hinting at a cross on the QCV. God, I hate that term. The Hearst is in significant mean reversion and actually has been over this entire period. This is not trend. It doesn't mean that you can't get price changes over a long period of time even when it's not trend, but expect it to be choppy and not Corona dump. Like the Corona dump was really the well, actually for the stock even you have an example of significant trend. So why don't we just use that instead of referencing another stock? When did you go into significant trend? Was it the Rona dump? Is this the... Yeah. All right, apologies. This was the Rona dump, and actually Hearst stayed elevated for a long time after that. I do have my Hearst set to 365 to give me a little bit more certainty. It'll be a lot less quicker, but I like it. For the quick stuff, I can use DWT and the VRT. All right, let's mark off this because this is kind of like what we're looking for to the upside. Like this is an example of Hearst in significant trend and pointed up. So we are not expecting this kind of behavior. That's what I'm trying to say. Even with the rise of volatility, if we end up staying in significant mean reversion, don't expect to stay here long, but also while you are here, don't expect those kinds of moves. Entropy moving down, nice for a delta trade overall, and QCV hopefully crossing up, nice for volatility. Trend remains up. Nice. All right, let's take a look at refi. Not enough data for refi. This is one that has a lot of insider buys. So if you wanted to just have exposure, that would make sense. But really, there's nothing we can do from the tools perspective here. SRPT. All right, these are the therapeutics plays. Your Hearst is in trend, not significant trend, but nevertheless should be expecting trending behavior. Market is quite random. VRT suggesting a random walk as well. Overall direction remains up. Momentum's positive, getting weaker but positive and above the due. Volatility looks like it's kind of cooling, although the HV percentile is very low and the HVZ is very low. Let's take a look at weekly. Weekly entropy moving down. No trending behavior here though. Did this cross? Not quite. All right, what can we expect here? We can expect some trend. We can expect some more volatility, especially with as long as the QCV stays turned up. We should probably be expecting the big moves to come to the upside as long as you're above the due. Other than that, just have exposure. That's pretty much all we can do. The decline in the HVE is kind of concerning. Just because over a longer period of time you could see lower volatility, but the QCV is pretty good to manage on. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at BLL. What did these guys do? Did we look at these guys yesterday? Is this the Bill Gates one? This is the smallpox vaccine manufacturer. Let's take a look at BLL. Oh, okay. Wow, big moves. Holy shit. You might have another day of this type of behavior. The SSR is moving up quite rapidly. QCV is hinting at a cross down. Not much. Hearst is right around the midline. We don't know if this is significant or not. We don't know if that's significant. VRT suggesting random walk. Yeah, the only thing here is to have exposure from the tools perspective anyway. I know these are insider buys. And if you wanted to kind of take positions on that, it's your money. I think it's a pretty good way of sourcing them, but from the tools perspective, the only thing I would say is have exposure as long as this persists. Probably more upside in the short term with the SSR where it is, but probably doesn't persist for too long. Momentum is positive. Let's see if we can get Hearst to turn up and the QCV to turn up, and that'll be a pretty decent setup. But for now, just have exposure. Just have exposure. Let's see the weekly. Okay, weekly is a bit more interesting here. Weekly is a bit more interesting. Let's see how we close this week. If it closes like this, for self-similarity to rise the week after, you would need a return that's self-similar to this, which is a return of positive 0.58. With entropy moving down, momentum moving up, you have a trade on the weekly that you could probably manage, and also the HVZ moving up, giving you some room for volatility. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. The insider buys are only icing on the cake. The tools need to look good first and foremost. I just set alerts where, yeah, fucking good call. Good call. And it makes sense too, right? Like you source the stocks, and for all the guys, for all the new people that are, trading fundamentals, or whatever narrative you choose to pick, it's always good to confirm with the actual underlying market dynamics, right? Like you do need volatility, you need probability on your side, and you need entropy. And if a big move comes, we will definitely see it on the tools as well. So it's good to source, but do confirm with the tools, as that will help you out a lot. All right. Let's see. Let me show for people. BLL, BWFG. This is pretty powerful on the weekly. Is the QCV turned up? Yeah, it is. Volatility pretty low on weekly. SSR moving up on this move up. Hearst is in significant trend. Nice. Daily entropy has taken the first step down. QCV moving up. Momentum is positive. Let's see if mom confirms. Returns are positive. Yeah, mom is positive as well. Nice. Good looking trend as long as this stuff persists. Looks like we're pretty early too. HV percentile as 23. Not bad. Not bad. You got some room here. There are different types of buys. BLL had the best type recently. Cluster buys. Multiple insiders took bites instead of just one guy. Okay, nice. Nice. So like there are a lot of people in on the buys. Not bad. All right, and the last one, LVOX. Let's take a look at that. Yo, quadrillion dollar idea right here. Solve the music challenge for streamers, and you'll be the next Jeff Bezos. Holy shit! What is this? Motherfucker. Yeah, do your own research, not financial advice. Absolutely. Absolutely. None of this is. Alright. LVOX. Volatility pretty high. QCV cooling off. VRT just started something, and the Hearst is still saying trend. SSR moving up on a move down from a very low spot. From the tools perspective, not what you want to see. Not what you want to see. Is this on any sort of probability? Weekly QCV just turned down. Probably have some cool off to the upside on the weekly. This was a pretty big, massive move incoming. 29 bars. I don't think the cone will calculate. Yeah, that doesn't give us much context. Let's take a look at the daily. What sampling period can I use? Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. 312 bars minus 60, 251 bars. Sorry. Yeah, you did have a play below the 0.1 percent probability. Nice. Currently I think you are still in unlikely land. Let's take a look at the 1%. Yeah, you're still below 1%. So closing below the cone has a less than a 1% chance. So pretty good for longs here. The odds are on your side. You could also use the probability panel to take a look, but this is, keep in mind, this is a smaller sampling period. Just because this stock hasn't been around for too long. The standard one is 400. Nice finds, dude. Nice finds. How did the market do today? A little bit of a down open. Still staying within the expected moves though. Not bad. Not bad. Bitcoin. Bitcoin up 0.5%. Alright, do I want to place any trades today? Let me take a look at FTX. Do I own AR? Yeah, I own AR. AR went up. What else do we own? A gold went up 0.71%. Not much. We're still losing, as you can see from my portfolio. We're still losing some money on those trades. That's why we took so very few of them. Yesterday it looked like a bloodbath. NAS wall expansion right now. Check out CAH tapping the do. Don't know if it's worth it or not. Let's take a look at CAH. Cardinal Health. Wow, is this the CAH you're talking about? Fucking powerful. It is within the first expected move for today. Still, the SSR is getting very close to the upper band, suggesting this is not going to persist. But the QCV is giving you a pretty big move. At least as long as this persists. I think overall you might get it either a little bit lower, maybe not. The market is getting more random. There is likely positive autocorrelation, so this is a trending move. If you want to have exposure to this, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Let me set the cone back to 1% and 5%. And let's move the cone down a little bit just to give us more context. 19. Yeah, you are on the 5% cone, so breaking this would be like getting 4.32 heads in a row. Certainly is possible, just unlikely. The one thing I would want to pay attention here is the QCV and the momentum. I think as long as those two persist, it's probably over a longer term, you do get a move. If you don't want to enter right here, if you think that's unreasonable, I would probably agree, but it's not for certain that you get a move down. I would try some buys around the due, maybe the first expected move to the downside tomorrow or the second expected move, something like that to try and enter lower. But over a longer period of time, as long as this persists and as long as these are positive and VRT is giving you some sort of trend, yeah, probably see more upside. Pope was recently low val 2 bars ago. Let's take a look. I only have Pope short volume. Why don't I have Pope? Oh, Poppy. I gotcha. That's not a stock. Okay, I gotcha. This is for entropy, right? The portion of price entropy. Yeah, you got to set up on this all the way out here. Crazy. All right, do I want to make any trades today? That is the big question. Where's Bitcoin at? If it's going to be a trade, it's going to be over the next 30 days probably. Maybe even longer, and then I gotta transfer all my shit to Deribit. I don't want to be taking any positions while we're sitting like this with the entropy going lower. We're like not on any sort of percentage either for the cone. Let's go 50 bars back. Oh, we are actually. We're below 5%. Could allocate some. Do you have do scalp mode or do alt version? It's right at the line for me. I have the do scalp mode on right now. I think the thing with the do for people that are watching, this is quite experimental, and I think there are a couple of versions out there. So some people have the older version, some people have the newer version. I have the newest version with the scalp mode on. And double check that your settings are the same as well. Yeah, this is a tool that's in beta testing, and I think they're doing more changes on it as well. The old version is the same as the scalp mode, more or less. Okay, gotcha. It did have a feature on there that was the bouncer. I no longer have that feature, which honestly I'm kind of missing. All right. Are the markets open until Friday, or are they gonna take a day off? July, or excuse me, January 1st is on Saturday. So we should look for 2021. Okay, so they look to be open. Nice. Okay. No, random walk would be a big dog. No, there was another one. There's for sure another one. I don't know if it got recalculated into the due, but it wasn't like this. The bouncer was like a like a line. I don't want to describe it with words, but ball market closed early from that's okay, gotcha. The bouncer was, I think, a little bit different from the due. Either way, there's a new version coming out. They're gonna redo some of the shit, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. All right, I want to see Deribit is what I want to see. Actually, let me not dox myself. Let me just not dox myself. The pink line is the dude, that's right. Shit. What's up, Lil Cho? Yeah, this is actually an orthodox stream, okay? Where do we see the probabilities at? We grab 45.5. And we grab 50, 52, 1, so we'll call that 52. And then if we go 60 days out, I wonder how much premium there's going to be on these. We go like 38. All right, so how does this change if price changes? So over the next 30 days, we're expecting to break the range 52. Where was it? Yeah, we're expecting to break this range 52 and 45. So let's see. 45. And this is going to be over the next 30 days. Not enough. Not enough. Because we actually have to then break like really 39 to be profitable. And we have to break 56. Okay. What if we go? No. What if we go further out? Okay, this is kind of close. This is kind of close. 50, 58, 59 were profitable. Max profit at 65 in 30 days. And 37 to the downside. And we're profitable at 42. And let's say 59. Oh, that's worse than a 50-50 bet. That's worse than a 50-50 bet. All right, I'm gonna keep messing with this. Sorry, I don't want to keep you guys on stream. I'm sure you guys have shit to do. I'm going to be probably structuring an options position, and I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit to make it make sense from a profitability perspective. The bet that I really do want to take on Bitcoin right now is on us exiting this this range. I think the volatility metrics are good. I think the entropy moving down is kind of good for a downside, but I don't necessarily want to play that here as we are quite low on the cone as it is. So it's just, we are in unlikely land and I don't want to ever be caught short anyway. And I don't want to sit in cash, so I think there's a good chance for an options trade here, but we're gonna have to sort it out a little bit. I think that's 40 bars, and yes. Oh, maybe one more actually. 50 bars. Wow. It's been 50 days since we've been calling for high volatility. Certainly is a nice early warning indicator. Yes, I'll keep taking a look and I'll probably update you guys tomorrow when I'm back on. The markets are open, so I will be back here. Random walk with BAPIG. Are you streaming tomorrow? Or excuse me, are you streaming tonight? See here, he might have left. All right, do check him out. The link for his stream is in the description of this stream. He goes over the tools from a beginner's perspective to get you a better understanding so that you guys can hopefully learn together. So he'll be hopefully streaming at market close. If not today, then definitely tomorrow. And I will leave you guys today. Yes, sir. Okay, good shit. And I'll leave you guys with that. We'll be structuring this options trade. I'll update you guys on it tomorrow, and I'll be posting on Twitter if I spot anything in the meantime. For Bitcoin, I think as long as this persists, the direction remains down. We have a pretty damn good likelihood of breaking this range. That's the bet I want to make. For S&P 500, for NASDAQ, very low probability we go below 46.75 and likely continue expanding volatility. And yeah, I think I will leave it there. Have a really awesome day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Good luck, good trading.